Okay, so how detailed is this plane? So the character's sitting right here, the vector's right there, the waves would move. That's a little large. That's a little large. Because if you think about it, you would like vectors to sit in between the player. Oh wait, they do. I forgot. They actually do. I have changed the perspective incorrectly because they do. Because it's 100 by 100, not 25 by 25. So that's where the vectors sit. That's the vector on the perspective. If I took the perspective off and we wanted to see 100 of these, well, we can. We actually can because I have made it a square law, which squares this all together. That's why I called it a universal library. I'll show you what that means in a second. So I have just made 100 million vectors. And what took, I don't know, 10 seconds? Because lots of people get programming wrong. I've just made 100 million. I want to get this through your head. I've made 100 million vectors. What took 10 minutes. Now, these are all scaled. This is not even the highest detail we can get. Okay. Not even the highest detail we can get. It is all scaled by just 4. Just to keep that in mind. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to sound snobby. So this is as detailed as it actually can get. On a lake, keep in mind where my camera's at. Do you see my camera? No, you don't. I scrolled all the way out. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to. Okay, 12,000 maybe. Maybe I'll see. Okay, I can barely see the cusp of my camera. The character will never see what you just saw. Basically, almost like the view size that the character has, we've discussed this before, is 2000, because in Godot things start to clip really bad after 2000. 500 is normal character distance. So you could you basically could fill the world. And with a scale of 1, remember we were 4 times multiplied. With a scale of 1, you would fill the whole world again with a viewport size of 500. View distance of 500. So what am I even doing? How do I explain this? So there's a vertex library, and this vertex library has 10,000 set vectors. All right, that's not the important part. That is actually fairly important to this whole thing. And then we have all these vectors in the process method. All this code, it's all being created. Mesh add surface from array in the process method. Then it's being destroyed. Every new process, it's being destroyed. So you didn't just see 100 million vectors. You saw 100 million vectors get created and destroyed, and created and destroyed, and created and destroyed. That fast. So that's really cool. But what's cooler than that is all these vectors can be programmed from a third handle. It might be the universal. I might do it with the universal library because I can get the child count there. So that third handle, I might use the programming in the universal library. What's being duplicated are the vertex libraries. I did that on purpose. So now you don't only have 100,000 vectors, you have 100,000 numbers. No, more than that. More than that. 100 million numbers. Holy shit. Excuse me for French. But each vertex library is then programmable, so I have to make a system of where waves go, how waves move, and then do the if statements, which is the fun part. if statements of if character is like in this area. So within an area, this is the really incredible part. I can get the area of anywhere in the universe. I know this we're just talking about water, but that's what I can do. So I can get the area of anywhere in the universe. And I can find its closest vector to the player. And then I can control how the player is buoyant. I can do the same thing with all objects because of this. But I can also do reactary and inactary. So, like, if something's floating across the water, it moves the vectors. It adds to the vectors and subtracts from the vectors. We can do whirlpools, all kinds of stuff within 100 of these. Insane amount of things, and they don't just to put this in perspective. They don't just are copies of each other. They're copies individual that are programmable. So, what does that mean? It's hard to explain. It's better to do, but I'm basically duplicating these vertex libraries here by squares, and then in the universal library, I will get children, universal code that will have 4 or 5 different variants of how the ocean's going to work. So it's about going to be like 50,000 lines of code, but it's not going to be 50,000 lines of code. Because remember, I created a number generator. So it's going to be way faster than that. Way faster, thank God. But I will be able to control children with this variable I created called squares. Because I can get the squares and I can get all the parents, etc., and blah blah blah, and I can control each one of them, where if they're close to land, if they're here, if they're there, like in individuals, through a process. One single process can control all of them. That's insane. That's basically controlling 100 million vectors programmably with only one set of 10,000. That's insane. That is utterly amazing. Like, I don't know how to express this any further. Fill the world, and each one of them is programmable, and you can do whatever you want with them. Like, there's no better. Like, once this is finished, and it's 90% finished, because all I have to do is do the algorithms. There's not going to be something that can compete. Like cloud, nothing's going to be able to compete with this ocean, except for like that guy who made this is as good as it gets, which is the equivalent in a way of that guy who made programmable procedural fucking universe. This is almost like that. I could have dozens of these. To the tens in squares. So I don't have much time left, but I hope that you get it, because there's not much left time to explain. There's not much time. I've been programming for so long I can't even speak right. There's not much time left to explain. And I could it can do everything that I want it to do. And it's pretty much done. All the keys are in place. I just have to move them. I could use textures to do it for me if I wanted to. That's how awesome this is. It's not just up and down, it's left and right. It's not just all these textures. It's different materials in different places. That's how insane this is. It could be anything. Almost. I've hoped you got an enjoyment out of this, because the ocean, pretty much done. I'm going to move on to other things, and I'll get to the universal library here and there. But the ocean is pretty much done. I'm going to use the texture for now. It's pretty much done, though. Ocean texture, that is.